dog will already be charging.
Yeah.
And if you can see the thought prior, that's where you want to provoke.
Yeah.
So then the next time she sees the dog joggers, she doesn't even go into the next stage.
Yeah.
She just goes, okay, no, I'm not going to do this. Okay?
Yeah.
Skateboard, of course, that's just sudden. If you find with skateboarders, let's say you're able to stop her and return her, but she always does it, then 80 is enough to stop her, but it's not enough to get her to retain the lesson. So then, if possible, when you're going to remote in that moment, I'll bump it, 90, whatever, and then I don't even worry about the number, just bump it, and then see, like, if you tap her on 95, and the next time she sees skateboarders, she stops, like, she doesn't improve. Like, that's the idea, that you don't want her to even try it, right? Good. Anything else? Okay. And I have, this is Brianna. You're always called. At the beginning of Sundays, so Brianna is Saturdays. This is Jean and Linnie. So she'll be helping us today. Okay. So we'll go ahead and have you pop her on the long leash and then show what you've been practicing. Okay? And then actually, if you grab my placemat. Thank you.
I forgot sort of
Your long leash?
Yeah.
No problem. What's your number set at now?
71.
71? Okay. And then I think last time we covered the emergency sits.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So I'll have you go in and just practice your long leash heel. Okay. And then just let me see how you've been practicing those emergency sits. Good. Yep, 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 good. Good. Try a couple more of the emergency sets. Yep. Tap, tap, keep going, tap, 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 good. Want to bring it back? Good. Stop it already. Yep, yep, yep. Is it on? Grab the box on her neck, and you can put the pager on the front. Vibrating? Yep. Good. So the emergency sits look good. The last one was kind of wonky. And then I've noticed that when she gets off the leg a little bit, is you tend to stall, and you want to keep your momentum. Okay, so in those moments, whenever she breaks away, I want to use the remote and keep moving to make her follow my lead, because you're not always going to have the ability to stall to help her. You're going to have to, essentially force her to comply in an emergency situation. So by doing that now, you're going to create mistakes. She's going to get confused and all that stuff. It's normal. But we want to get all that stuff out the way now while she's on the long leash so that we're not worried about it when she's off leash. Okay? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to have you do a couple more of the emergency sits pivoting out. Okay? And then coming back to her. And then what we're going to move to is you're going to say sit, but now you're not going to be pivoting. You're just going to be timing the sit when you step out with your right leg. Okay? So your heel, you're with Linnie, and instead of going sit like this, you're going to be walking with Linnie, and you're going to say sit when this leg is coming out, but you're going to keep moving forward. Okay? Now when you do this, you're walking, heel, you have your leash shorter, sit, so you can do that with your left arm to help stop her and tap, because you're still moving forward, that she might be thinking heel. Okay, so we're trying to make this a bit more realistic to break her away from what your body language is like. So we'll start off first of a couple of the older ones of the pivoting out. Okay. So one turn, heel, tap, 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 tap. Up with the connection. A couple of test taps here. Just like that. Alright, go ahead. Yeah, good. Forward. You're good. I got you. You're good.
Yeah.
One more like that. So if she gets up, so what you want to do here is you're going to choke up higher. closer to her collar, choke up a little bit more. That's good about there. You're going to relax. Okay. So that this way, when you pull up, because both those times she got confused and kept moving towards you, is when you pulled up, you were correct, but there was too much slack that there was no tension there. So I get a little bit shorter, and then as you're backing away, you can always get the slack off as you're walking backwards. Okay. Try it again. There you go. That's good. Very good. Look at that. Perfect. I'm going to try that 2 more times. Okay? Yep.
Yep.
Much better. Good. Tap, tap. So here, start to keep tapping and tap her back to this position. Tap, 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 tap. Over here. Walk this way. Tap, tap. Keep walking. Tap, tap, tap. Right here. Tap, tap. Like pressure up. Like that. And back away. Pop, tap, tap. Lean her back. Tap, 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 tap. Yeah. There you go. So, I think, which finger's tapping? Okay. For some reason that's not coming. Oh, you're good. Never mind. I'm seeing things. You're good. Good. Now you're going to feel. This is the one where you're going to say sit. Or you're going to do this. And you can walk slowly to make it more easier for yourself. You're moving up, tap, keep it like that. Good, up, tap. Keep moving still. Good. There you go. And then keep it, yep. So, short breathe. You know how to remember the walking emergency sit? Okay. Bree's going to show you here. Go into the heel. Go ahead and do another warm-up with the pivot out, and then go into the emergency sit, but keeping your movement forward. Tap. Right. Do one more than the next one. Good. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. You might have to bump it. Where's she at?
75.
Let's go to 83. Because she's attached to Jean. So she's going to try to forge back. We're going to try a couple more times with her. Good, couple more. There you go. Better. One more. That's weird, because over there she was fine, but over here she wants to look at Jean. Good, right? So that one over there where she was able to just sit, keep moving forward, and go around was what we're looking to create. Go ahead and give Linnie back. So once you get the sit motion, don't worry about getting far from her right now. So you be walking, you choose to sit. And now just keep it close by as you walk with her, then back to her side, heel. So this way, if she tries to move towards you, since you have it shorter, you can still restrict her. Okay? Better. And then you got it. Much better. Yeah. Good job. Back to the side. That was a good one. Yeah. Good job. Very good. Much better. Much better. Good one. Good. There you go. Better. Good. Relax for a moment. Much better. So, as you start to advance certain things, you have to either make it a little bit easier or digress a bit. Because we went from, stay like this and then moving around and stuff, and you can go further. But now that you're changing it up because it's sit and you keep moving forward, for Linnie it still looks like heel.
Yeah.
So she has to differentiate and really pay attention to what you're doing with your body language. Which is why the timing is important. You say the sit, and she just puts the brakes on. And then in the beginning, because she's going to want to follow, I have it shorter and I just keep it around her. And you were doing really well. And going to 85 helped a lot, because then when she would get up, you would tap and she would just put her butt down right away. So all that should be that simple. Okay? So if it seems like she keeps making mistakes, it's either we've progressed too much too soon, or our level's not high enough. And it was a mixture of both. So what we're going to do here is start just blending everything together, like we did previously with we got plates, we have recall, we have heel, now we have stay, and then now we have the emergency sits. I talked about going over the down stuff with her, right? Were you practicing with her? Yeah. How's she doing with that?
She's good.
I'm sorry? She's good with trees. Okay. So we're going to see if we can keep Linnie to down with leash pressure here. Let's bring her by right here. Okay. Good. Now what I'm going to have you do here is you're at 85. Okay. Just give a single tap here on 85. That's the big way. I'm going to have you give a little bit of slack here. You don't have to have shoes today, do you? Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and relax your arm. And then with your left, a little bit more slack. Right there. With your left foot, what you're going to do is you're going to step on the inside of that leash. See how it's making that little kind of J? Over here. By, what's the password called? There, yeah. So up, yeah, sit. Good. And then with your left foot, step on that. There you go. And a little bit of pressure. So do you feel like any tension on her neck at all? With the flat collar? Okay. So go ahead and just, with your left hand, you're going to pull up a little bit. That's good. Now tap. Pull up a little bit more in the leash. And let's go down the 7, 5. Yep. Give it a moment. She's thinking. Take up a little bit more slack on the leash. You want to make it shorter? There you go. Yeah, good. A little bit more. Good. And then choke up on your leash a bit. From your hand, grab a little bit higher. There you go. There you go. So that's way if you have to pull up again, you're going to take up more leash, okay? Yep. Wait a moment. Good. Let's go down to 55. Yep. Yep. Choke a little bit more. Yep. Good job. Yep. Yep. Almost. It's okay. Push your butt down. Good. Yep. Wait a moment. Choke up a little bit more with the leash. Yep. Push down the butt. Yep. Push down the butt. Help her. Bree's gonna help you here. Go down to 35, and then I'm gonna have you add in shoulder pressure as well.
With the leash?
You're gonna do both leash and shoulder pressure. Yep, get her in that sitting position. Go. Good. Very subtle pressure. Yep. 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 Almost. Yep. Yep. I'd pivot so that you're side by side. There you go. Good job. Yep. 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 Down on the butt. Good. Tap. Bring her forward. Down on the butt. You got it. Good. Good. Yep. Just pivot. There you go. There you go. You're good. And praise. You had a girl, and that's okay. So we don't care if she pops up right now. We just want to teach her to lay down. Okay. We're gonna do a few more. Do a few more, so it's a little bit more easier. There you go, and praise. Not going to care about her popping up. Let's do 3 more, Bree. Good. Yep, there you go, praise. Good, 2 more. Let's go up to, you're at 35, right? Let's go to 43. Reinforce. There you go. 1 more. Oh, there you go. There you go. Good. Now you can pass the gene. Good job. Alrighty. So what we're doing there is we're layering pressure remote over the down. So that's why last week I was like, to make it familiar. Because this command, the down command with remote, tends to be the hardest for dogs to pick up because you're using physical pressure to make them go into a specific position. So we're kind of get nervous. Down to 35, and then we increase physical pressure by incorporating our hand as well. So as the leash going down, but then some pressure on her shoulders to bring her into that position. So it's not as simple as down, and if she doesn't do it remote. Most dogs will jump out, which is what we saw in the beginning. So we have to help her learn that when she feels this pressure, that it means to do this. Okay? So then, in the beginning, she laid down because she got up right away. I don't care about that. Okay? Because I'm just trying to teach her to lay down. We focus on one topic at a time. So, because if I make her lay down and she pops up and I try to keep making her lay down, she's going to get frustrated because she doesn't know what to grasp quite yet. So I go, no problem. We repeat it a few times, and on that last one, Reed just simply stepped on the leash, and then she already laid down. So it got a lot easier. So once we start to get to that point, then I start to be pickier and go, okay, great. You have a good concept now. Now I want you to lay down and now. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go back with the leash pressure just to get her to lay down with the tapping, and then we're going to start to make it more strict. Okay. And go ahead and place her in a sitting position. It's easier from a sit. There you go. Yep. Very good. And then praise. Break. Good. Let's do two more. Yep. Back to the sit. And then here, try it with just the leash pressure, okay? With no hand. And yep. 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 Wait a moment. Yep. Wait a moment. Yep. Praise. Good girl. Good. More. Great. Girl. Right. Praise the girl. One more. Right. Almost. Yep. Very good. And praise. So we're going to hold right there. No release. Good. Okay. And then just keep relax a bit, but keep your foot on the leash. There you go. Good job. So that couple back when you tapped her and she started to move around a lot. Do you know why that happened? There was a little bit of distraction. That was part of it. What else? Sure. Why? Sorry, Lil. Okay. So what I saw was when you did leash in hand, is I believe you may have put too much pressure on the hand, and then when the tap came through, it was a really big jolt for her. Like she felt the full power of it. So those two things too much together created too much, and then she started to break. Okay. So when we put the hand pressure, it's super subtle. It's where she feels it, but it's not like actively like putting it's too much because you have 3 points of pressure. You have your remote, you have your hand, you have your leash. So you're trying to balance all these things out, which is why we went lower on the e-collar, because we're incorporating the hand as well. Whereas earlier we were at 75, 65, whatever, but we weren't using the hand, right? So I'm trying to compensate because I know if I put too much pressure on the dog, they're going to panic and they're going to want to shuffle around, okay? So, and most people do that when I tell them light pressure on the hand, like I'll see them putting on their body weight, and I go, you don't want to do that because it'll make the dog it'll make them very uncomfortable, and they're going to fight back. Okay, and I'm trying to make it super subtle so that she's seeing it again as a line of communication of like, hey, like you want to go into this position, and not panic about it. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're teaching Linnie how to lay down with the remote collar as easily as possible. Okay, so ideally it would be just down and Linnie downs. I don't need treats or anything like that. She just knows what to do. But then down also has the function aspect of it, which is lay down, don't move. Okay, so like we did place and down and sit are all stationary commands. Do this and don't move. But down is a bit more strict. And down doesn't need to have an object like this, right? It's just down, and she lays where she's at, and she's not supposed to move. But down's more strict. She can break from that position. I don't care if she goes on her back. I don't care if she's on her side or anything like that. I just care that she doesn't stand up and doesn't try to sit up. Okay? So when I do training, I look at this as family pet. I just need function. I don't need aesthetics. I don't need to look very pretty. I need to like a dog lay down and lay down for 2 hours. Okay, so if she likes to lay on her side, if that's more comfortable for her, that's completely fine by me. Questions so far about this? No. So we're gonna do another batch to see how easily we can get her just to lay down. Ideally, it's like she sees her foot, light pressure on the leash, she just lays down, and then we're gonna start cueing in the word again with the actual depth. Okay, and break, girl. Wait a moment. Yep. A little bit of hand pressure on the butt. There we go. Good. Shorten the leash. There you go. Good. And praise. And girl. Girl. Good. Four more. Very good. And praise. Good. 3 more. Good. Very good. The last one. Good. I'm gonna hold that right there. Okay. So she got distracted, and then you tapped her, and then there was a movement, right? So if you would have kept tapping, she probably would have flushed or gotten up, because it would have been too much. So right when I saw yep, wait a moment, down on the butt, yep, yep, wait a moment, okay, wait a moment, right there, very good. I saw her moving, and I said, wait, right? Because it looked like she was going to go into the down. Here, she shuffled a bit, and you tap like maybe 3 or 4 times, and I closed it 2. So when you're tapping and you see that big movement, that's Linnie thinking. She's going, what do I need to do to stop the tap, right? And then I waited, and then she like stood in front of you. And I go, that's not what I was looking for. And you tap again, and she starts moving again. And she like goes behind you, and I go, that's not what I was looking for. And you tap again. And she came over to your side, and I said, wait. And then she laid back down again, right? So now she just figured out, oh, the tapping didn't mean up and shuffle around. Tapping meant go back into the position. Okay? So when we're doing the stationary stuff, if you tap Linnie and she's moving, that's why we step on the leash, is to limit her range of motion, to make it easier. So she had the full 30 feet, she'd be walking off and going that way, but it'll take her forever to figure it out. So by stepping on it, you're eliminating range of motion, and I give a single tap, and I see it affects her because she's going, what do I need to do to get this to stop? Okay, and she stops. That's not correct. Tap. She's like, what do I got to do? And she stops. Tap. What do I got to do? That's not right. Up. Yep. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. There it is. Right? So see how she shuffled backwards, and then came forward after the tap, and then waited, and then right there, right? So the more you do this, you're making her think through it. She's problem solving. Okay? And this is the thing about when we do e-collar is I, as much as possible, make the dog figure it out. Because in an emergency setting, like, uh-oh, you're having to figure it out, and you're having to force her to figure it out. So the more she learns to think through this stuff, the more likely for success you're going to be within that moment. Most people, when they see that stuff, they feel bad. They want to repeat commands. They want to help the dog. They want to reset. And I go, life's not going to let you reset. Okay? You're not just working with Linnie right now. You're learning to recognize when she's thinking, learning to recognize when it looks like she's going to come to the solution. Because right there, when she backed up with the tap, she just flushed forward, came to your side, the butt down, and then this. So all those things are telling me she's going to do it. And the more you do it this way, the faster Linnie's able to figure it out on her own. So it's kind of like for humans, like for me personally, when I figure how to do something out on my own, the first time's the hardest, and the next time it's easier, and eventually I can do it no problem, right? Same thing for dogs. There was one where it took her a bit, then another one, and then the last one was the easiest for her, because she'd already done it 3 times. Does that make sense? Very good. So now, what we're doing as well here is we're creating that implied stay. So down is lay down, don't move. And you're applying that stay simply by reinforcing the position anytime Linnie breaks out. Okay? Now I will say that if she stands up, it's easiest to get her to lay back down again by using your hand to put her butt back down. Okay? So most trainers will tell you, or all trainers will tell you, don't teach your dog down to the sit. Okay? They do that because in competition, if the dog downs a sit, it creates that pattern. I don't care if it's family pet. I sit the dog later. Okay? So here, if she's shuffling about and she's not getting it too well, I'll put a little bit of pressure on the butt to help her do this, and it'll help her get to the down fast. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to release Linnie. I'm going to have you put her in a heel, just kind of break her away from the exercise. Then you're going to come to a stop, and then you're going to wait for a moment. And then you're going to position yourself again, and then you're going to say down before you step on the leash tap. So it becomes that sequence of down, leash, tap. Okay? Whenever you're ready, heel. Turn. Up. Power through, power through. Good job. Stop. Good. You're going to wait a moment here.
Down.
There you go. Up. Wait. Almost. Yep. Down the butt. Good job. Almost. Wait for it. Wait for it. Right. Girl. Right. So correct that. Yep. Like that. Very good. Good. And then break. And I'm gonna have you just walk around, no heel here. Just like walk around, get her like off the exercise. Good.
Yeah.
Ready. Go ahead and just put a little bit of leash pressure forward here. There you go. Let it girl. Wait a moment. Put it pull up. And grab one of those arms there. Up. Pressure the butt there. Let it girl. Use the word ready. Use the word down. And step on leash. Tap. gotta do it, but then we just tap it, okay? Yeah. 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 Short and leash bit. There you go. A little bit more pressure. Yeah. And a girl. And brace. Good girl. Good. Break for just a few more times. Break. Girl. Good. Stop. Yep. Wait a moment. Okay. Wait. Yep. Yep. And a girl. Good. Come on. And you're still at 35?
43.
43? Yeah, yeah, upright. It's not in heel, right? Yeah, my bad. Oh, it's the knee. Yeah. Very good, great. One more. Break, break, break. Go. Good. Good. We're gonna hold her right there, okay? So just step on, let your leash go back, then just step on it. There you go. Up. And there she goes. And a girl. Good job. So we have two aspects to this. One is just to lay down, right? So make it very easy. And the next part of it, of course, is lay down, don't move. So kind of the place, so let's go to place, make that easy, and then let's go to place, don't move, right? So we always want to separate these things. So now that she's gotten more familiar with it, she's gotten more comfortable that the tap with the pressure means going into position. It makes it easier to correct. So if she does break position, I can just tap, and for the most part, she'll lay down. Okay. So the downing part of down, tap, this, 2 to 3 minutes, twice a day. Okay. And when you feel like she's mastered it, and you can just say Linnie down, and she does it like this, then we don't need to work on it anymore. She's already mastered that. Then I just use it. Okay. So whenever we teach something to a dog, and they get a good concept of it, we don't drill it so much. We just start applying it. Okay. Because when we drill things, it can get redundant for the dog and get frustrating. So once they have a good grasp on it, I go to, okay, now I'm going to eat dinner and you're going to down at my feet. Or now I'm going to work my computer and you're going to down at my feet. Things like that. So it doesn't become redundant. The down is meant for extended use, so 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours, whatever you're needing. And the place stay and the down stay, the sit stay stuff, they kind of overlap because it's like, don't move. Okay? So if you've been doing any of that stuff, it all kind of overlaps, it should make it easier. Now you just have to teach it to the specific command itself. Let me think here. Questions so far about this? Nope. So this, what I would do is isolate on its own. I wouldn't integrate this with the other stuff quite yet. Okay? Because you want her to get a good concept of the down, So you're working this by itself, and then when you go outside, you do all the other stuff you've been doing, right? So with the emergency sits, we advanced it a bit today, where I was like, okay, you can do the sit, and then you just keep your movement. Um, let's say later today you're going to do another training session. I would start first with warming her up with the sit and the pivoting out, okay? And then move to the sit as you're moving forward. And do that for a bit until you feel like she's mastered it. And then one day when you go out, do the sit, but keep your movement without the pivoting, so there's no warm up, okay? And then if she's doing well with that, you just progress at that level, okay? I'd give it a week with the down, so then like next week I'd show you how we'd incorporate this with everything else, right? If she's got a good concept of it. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that as we start to add more things to the long leash practice, you're going to create problems. Okay, it's part of the process. That's why we try to teach one thing at a time, at least when we go to the long leash, so that if we create problems, it gives you a week to fix it, and then we teach the next thing as opposed to everything all at once, and then you have like 10 problems you have to fix. Okay. You can also use this like to incorporate it. Like let's say you go for a walk to the park, and then you're doing long leash stuff, and then you decide I'm gonna sit on the bench and just hang out for a bit. You just swap your leashes, lay down, step on the leash. You know, you can loop the handle around your hand, whatever. Read a book, or just be on your phone, or just like relax for a bit. Do that for 5-10 minutes, and then get up, and then you heel. If you do that, similar to the place I think I told you, if she's next to you and you're gonna get up to before you get up to release Linnie first, and then get up, so you prevent the pattern of standing up, release, and then she'll start anticipating.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, is you're gonna do the same thing with the down. So if you're sitting at the bench and you're like, okay, we're done, I wouldn't get up. She's probably gonna get up with you right now. I would release her first, then get up, heel, and then walk. Okay. Now we will progress it to she's laying down, you get up, and if she doesn't move, but at least for that first week, you want to avoid that problem by releasing her first. Okay. You can start applying it within the home, and you can use this, you know, like the change leaving place command, just to change it up for her. This is harder because it's more specific. So if I would do more of this, like maybe 3/4 of this and 1/4 of that in terms of during the week. Because if she can do this, then this becomes no problem. Okay. Do be mindful because some people do send their dogs to place and then they'll say down. I don't do that because it's not a place anymore, it's a down. Okay? So then if Linnie stood up, you technically have to correct that because that's out of the down position. But people forget because they set them to place and they forget that they downed them. So when the dog stands up, they don't think it's a big deal because the dog's in place, but technically they're in that. Okay, so it's a tiny little detail, but it's a very common one that people mix up. So I leave just place by itself. I never say sit, I never say down on there. It's just go here, and I don't care what you do. I leave this stuff to like when there's no clear boundary. Like if I wanted to stay put here, but I don't have a placemat or a towel or anything, then it's just down. Okay. Questions? So she did good. So 15 minutes, a couple times a day. If she does a good job, you can use food to reward her and praise her. But if she breaks out of position, you would correct it, but we would not reward her. Okay, because she broke the position. Keep doing your long leash stuff. Now you're just adding in that emergency sit while you're moving forward. And then next week we'll add in this to the long leash stuff, and we'll just start stacking these. Okay. Anything else?